Nation, Randy Reed here from the great state of Wisconsin. How you all doing today? So I saw something online yesterday that we got a little warm spell coming up here in Wisconsin, one of our unusual ones. It's going to be the warmest that it's been in the last 9.5 months. So fortunately, I was able to get out for the last winter to Mexico, but man, that's a long time to in between warm spells. So as the subject matter said today, what's the most important person you need to know? And I was thinking about that uh, yesterday as I'm talking with all the friends and the school owners around the country they're in the process of reopening. And as they're reopening, some of them are reimagining their business model. They're reimagining their purpose for being in martial arts. And over the years, I have noticed that the hardest thing, and it was the hardest thing for me, is to know who you are. And by that, I mean, what's the old saying, to thy own self be true? I think we get caught up in a lot of not necessarily hype, but just the martial arts community. We have a very diversified community, and people do things a lot of different ways. We have a lot of different business models. And I think sometimes we get caught up in the bigger is better, more is better. This is how you have to do it to be successful. I think people with multi units now, they got kicked a little harder than some of the other people that are in single units, especially the big ones. But I think I'm talking with a lot of owners who are taking a step back and saying, here's what I really want to do. And especially when it's taken away, then you really get to know what you wanted. And what I really want to do is I want to run my martial arts school. I want to be an owner operator. You trade owner operator for just owner, you add a whole nother layer of responsibilities up top. It's a whole different job. And so they start to look at their business model and for the most part, if you're in an average type city in the United States, 150 students, you can make $100,000 a year relatively easily. You're not going to work very hard. You're doing martial arts. You don't have to get up in the morning. You don't have to work late. You get to work barefoot in your pajamas. People call you sir or ma'am. It's basically a part-time job that pays $100,000. That's a pretty darn good job. Do you need a half a dozen schools and to try to make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000? Some people do. There's plenty of them out there doing it, making more than that. But you have to. Some people are so busy striving for 5 schools that they haven't got their single school up to what it's capable of, or more importantly, that it's up to where it could actually give them what they really want. So as you're looking at this as the future, as we're moving into this new time, you might want to take a minute and just start to say, who am I and what do I really, really want out of my martial arts school and out of my life? If you're making $100,000 a year and you live below your means and you make investments, you could be a very rich person in 10 years. 20 years, you can be good. I've got black belts that are millionaires and out of schools that I used to own, and I didn't make a million out of those schools. They did a better job with them than I did. And so just some food for thought. When I get calls all the time, who should I look to as a mentor? What consultant should I hire? There's a lot of different options out there. What I tell them is find somebody who is teaching the way you want to teach, who's living the lifestyle you want to live. I don't care if they're a consultant or not. Follow them around, pay them what it takes to get that knowledge. Unless, of course, it's summer camp or after school stuff. Then you go to Dwayne Spires because he's absolutely killing them out there for his people right now. I'm following what he's doing, and the people are all able to run summer camp this summer are doing really well and not as affected as the schools that are just strictly martial arts. That's a whole other story. So my thought for the day is to encourage you to have a hard look at yourself, a long talk with yourself, have a clear focus on what you really want to do, and get that 5, 10 year plan and try to go forward with it. I read another nice quote. Whoever applied for a job in 2015, no matter who it is, and on the application it said, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" Everybody got that one wrong because nobody thought they'd be where they're going to be in 2020. Isn't that the truth? All right. Well, I hope you have a great week. I hope that everybody does well in their reopening. My take on this reopening thing is that it's going to happen much faster than we think it is. If the statistics are proving right in the majority of the country, there's different statistics depending on density and that sort of thing. I think things are going to get back to normal real quick. So we're going to need to be prepared. We're going to have to step up our game in the school. We're going to have to step up our game marketing wise. We're going into a slow time of year for martial arts. We're getting a phone call. I won't take that right now. And so there's a lot of different options. One of the options you might have, speaking of that, if you're thinking about doing something in the fitness kickboxing realm, my friends Dave Wheaton and Melody Meyer, you probably heard me talk about them in the past. They have a tremendous school out in Santa Barbara, California, and a tremendous fitness kickboxing program. She is, and him both, they have built a culture and the program that I think is the best I've seen. A $1 million deal. And so I asked her to do a webinar with me in a couple weeks here. I think we're going to do it a week from this week. So it'll be next Thursday, not Thursday of this week, but the following Thursday. I don't even know what that date is. We'll have to look it up. But you might want to set in on that. There'll be a little, some information at the end of this video. You can take it from there. On Friday, we're going to come out with the next Cause Talks video. We've got Clayton Maxey from Melody Johnson's skills program. He spoke a lot, or his presentation was on working with kids with autism on the spectrum. Man, great presentation. And he's such a good kid. He's young, but he's smart. He works hard. He's a wonderful representative of martial arts. And as it should be, the young start to teach the old. And he's got some very interesting things he's doing on that thing you might want to sit in on. So Randy Reed, over and out. Bye and bye.